Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Gyro and I'm back in 10.2 World of Warcraft. Yes, I have renewed my subscription and I'm quite excited to share with you my 10.2 gearing guide for returning players. Nice and easy, no BS, straight to the point. Yes, it can take you very quickly from level 415, eye level 415, to anywhere to the ballpark of 440, 450 if you persevere through this. This is going to be a sequential guide. This does not pretend to be completely all-encompassing, but it will absolutely help the returning players such as myself, who have been away for a while, to find their feet in 10.2 without wasting too much time. As always, I welcome your additions in the comments down below if I've missed out on some nice, lucrative, especially methods of getting gear quickly. Let's get started. So I'm assuming this is your first character back, so you haven't been in the game since, let's say, 10.1, 10.1.5 maybe. I haven't been in the game for what feels like a few months. So this is your first character back. This is not a scenario where you are a nephew of a rich uncle who can just send you a whole bunch of BOA 415 Dreambound gear, as that would change the priority order of the next points that I'm gonna give you quite a bit. So this is your first character. Now, point number one, update your add-ons straight away. It's obvious, but let's get it out of the way. Go to curseforge.com and make sure that your add-ons are updated. This will help you and it will not interfere with any glitches, any other kind of problems. Now, next thing kinda is obvious. If you are kinda a veteran of the game such as me, you need to spend a little bit of time and think about which alt is gonna go first, which alt is gonna be your temporary main for this season 3 that's about to unfold. So I have picked my Retribution Paladin simply because Paladin is that great class that I always have enjoyed, and I can very easily swap between Retribution, which I quite enjoy these days, and Protection. Protection Paladins are amazing tanks, as you know. So we picked an alt, we updated our add-ons. Next point is that the Blizzard has actually updated the UI of the game, standard UI of the game, quite a bit. But today I'm just going to very quickly point out a little handy, wonderful button in your bag, in your kind of vendor interface, that is called Sell Junk. So to make use of that button, my friend, make space in your bags before we go into the Emerald Dream. I can't overstate the importance of this. Let's make sure you have space to put all those goodies into. I like to start fresh content with a freshly cleaned up space. By that I mean press that button, sell all junk, as well as I would personally, honestly, forget about any of your old Season 2 gear. You might have still heaps of greens and blues somewhere in the eye level ballpark of 376, and about that, that is all junk by now, believe it or not. Yeah, time's moved on. Just sell it. I sold it. Unless you're obviously a crafter, and we are not going to be diving into crafting elements of this because A, I'm not a master crafter, and B, because we're going mainstream gearing level today. Before you tell me, hey Gyro, what about crafting? Well, not here, my friend, not here, but I welcome your additions to this. Now, priority one, is to unlock Emerald Dream content. Forget about everything else. If you're like me and you haven't been in the game for a while, you will not be able to straight away do the campaign quest called Call of the Dream. They will tell you that you need to do the Coalition of Flames questline that you and I both have probably missed out, most likely on, because if you've done only Zaralek Cavern and haven't been around, there have been some events that have happened. So simply follow the questline, simply do the Coalition of Flames questline. It is a short one, it is not a very long one. I'd say, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe of the time it will take you. And then once the Coalition of Flames quest is done, you go to the Ancient Bow and you speak to Merithra, who will allow you the entrance into Emerald Dream, and where you will get your little whimsy Drake, whatever, if you prefer that. I don't. I still prefer my good old Slither Drake to dragonfly around. Alright, so just keep it simple and follow the questline. As soon as you are in the Emerald Dream, it will take you kind of step by step through the questline, and there will be a lot that will start distracting you straight away. You would think, what about those seeds that people are planting here? What about this? What about that? I think that the best bang for the buck right now for you as an undergeared character is to straight away go and follow the questline, simply because First of all, you need to finish it anyway, and second of all, it will give you quite a lot of 415 gear in the process. Yeah. In addition to that, you'll be killing some stuff, and there are fairly good chances that you will even get automatically upgraded gear that procs upgrades, just like it did in Zerelek Cavern, where you get not the green 415, but instead you would get something 420 something gear, the blue version of the gear. I got a few pieces of those, so that is your primary path. Don't veer off it just yet. And yes, we will talk about Dreamsurges very, very soon, my friends. You follow the questline until basically you unlock the central hub in the Emerald Dream. You will be there pretty quickly. It will introduce you to the upgrade system again, slightly updated upgrade system with the flight stones, which you can take advantage of straight away, and maybe you'll be tempted to. But again, I recommend against it. Why? Because it's likely that you get some green gloves, let's say 415, and some flight stones, and you think, oh yay, let me upgrade them to blue. What if you just take a couple of steps further into the campaign, which I'm instructing you to do right now for your own good, and then you'll get a blue piece of gear. You'll be like, oh, I just wasted some flight stones. Which is why I recommend starting with the upgrades at the end of this guide, not at the beginning of this guide. So, you also should straight away, just like in the Zerelek Cavern in Loam, like we did, you should straight away take the quest A Worthy Ally Dream Wardens, simply because the further quests are going to award you with the reputation, with the Dream Wardens, and specifically the quest called The Looming Cinder is going to give you a token for 2500 rep of worth of points. So once that point happens, just a few steps ahead of you, you will be able to come back and complete Dream Wardens, the Worthy Ally quest straight away, and get an epic piece of gear of 441 item level, which is very chunky for a fresh alt that comes back to the game. I'm sure you would agree. So continue with the questline, take Worthy Ally, keep going for now. Kill rares. There will be rares spawning all over the Emerald Dream. Kill them for what will appear as a supply pouch. So you open that supply pouch and it will always contain flight stones, which is great for upgrades, yes. Possible gear pieces, but I wasn't lucky yet enough to get any of those pieces. You will also notice one big icon kind of on the map there, which is called Superbloom. It's where the Ancient is walking around, and it's a kind of fun community event. Well, it depends on what you determine as fun. It's a community event where we follow that Ancient around and kind of just shoo away and protect the Ancient, shoo away any annoyances and protect the Ancient. And in the process of doing that, if you're participating, it encourages participation rather than hanging around. If you participate, you earn these points of the bloom. The more points of the bloom you get, the more the UI, standard UI, tells you what you are earning. You could earn a green pouch, or like a bluish pouch with the potential of a better reward, or an epic one. If you have participated the whole way through, did a lot of DPS, tried to clear out all these annoyances from the path of the Ancient, you will get potentially, I don't know if it's guaranteed. You let me know if you have discovered that it's guaranteed, because I've done it only once so far and reporting very freshly, kind of as a freshly excited returning player. It basically has a potential of giving you 441 epic piece of gear as well. Amazing source, very easy to do. The event happens at the top of every hour, and I understand that the epic level loot again is guaranteed only once a week, but you correct me if I'm wrong. So the first time you complete it in a week, it gives you a potential of an epic gear. But the other times, I assume it gives you the lower gear. Again, I invite some corrections in the comments down below if you know better. But still, I think these are your priority items regardless. For me, after completing a Worthy Ally, after turning in the Looming Cinder quest, and then completing the Superbloom event, getting 2 epic pieces, guess how unlucky? Yet again, Gyro's infamous lack of luck. How bad it was. I got 2 cloaks, epic cloaks of 441. I could have used any other piece of gear, but instead I got these stupid cloaks, okay? Now, you would have seen by now all this planting of the seeds going on. I'm not going to stop you from doing it, especially if you get a high quality seed to plant. It's a pretty straightforward system, I don't need to explain it. As soon as you get a blue seed or an epic seed from doing something more prominent, such as finishing one of those Looming Cinders quest or one of the weekly level quests, you will be able to plant that seed, The better the seed, the better is the potential reward that you're going to get from that plant that has a certain time on it. It blooms, there is a certain thing, you click on it and you see what is in it. I have been only lucky enough to get a few crests, which are presumably like still a material, same system, still a material to upgrade your epic level gear further through the upgrade system on top of flight stones. But I wasn't lucky enough to get actual pieces of gear from those seeds. You let me know if you have gotten any of that, which is why, of course, you need to plant seeds. Everything is about dreaming and sleeping and planting seeds in the Emerald Dream, fair enough, but I didn't put it as one of the top priority items to do. Now, once you run out of things to do there inside of Emerald Dream, I would get out of it and I would go back to one of the 4 zones of Dragonflight where the Dreamsurge is happening. Dreamsurge is something that happens in the same zone for the duration of a week, then it rotates to another zone. Dreamsurge gives a certain buff to the characters within that zone. Yeah, it could be an experience buff, could be extra damage, could be something else. You could not die but be resurrected. One of those super like Dreamsurge buffs essentially that you are earning while Dreamsurge is active. But most important thing for characters that are gearing up there is that the rares that spawn around the zone, they get empowered by the Dreamsurge, and the empowered rares, they will drop, they have a potential of dropping a Dreambound bind on account for 415 item level gear. And that is when you become a rich uncle to the army of your alt nephews, who you can then ship that gear, BOA gear, to, which is awesome. I love that Blizzard has implemented this system. So this is one of the ways also to gear up, especially once you bring the army of alts to follow this main character. Final item that I'm going to mention here as a casual player, that's how I gear. I do not talk, as you can see, about PvP. I do not talk about high-level Mythic plus dungeons. I do some Mythic, but it is definitely somewhere on the low priority for me. For me, this last point is basically the last thing I do, especially in such a rich experience that 10.2 gives us. There is a lot to do. There is genuinely a lot to do now for the alts. This last point is obviously the new raid of LFR. Looking for raid that opens at the moment of recording of this video next week, which is fantastic. It has a certain item level entry point, so all this what I described to you will help you gear up to the level of being able to enter LFR, so spend your time wisely. And then the LFR actually is very also appealing, because from what I see on the screen right now, I'm just looking at the adventure guide, and from what I can see, LFR lower bosses, kind of the very first few bosses, they start giving you epic level, obviously, of item level 441, which is great, nothing to sneeze at, that's great. And then the further wings of LFR are going to start giving you even higher item levels, 447, 450 and so on, especially the very rare gear that drops somewhere there. I think that's awesome. Basically, I'm excited to be back. If you have been my kind of slightly slumbering sort of World of Warcraft crowd, like, oh, Gyro has left World of Warcraft for good, I'm back, my friends. I can't tell you for how long this will keep me excited, but at the very least through the duration of LFR, because as you know, I publish casual-friendly guides for all bosses of LFR, of how to, what you need to know kind of in a bare-bones way to beat the bosses and to get the better gear for us casual players. If you've enjoyed this video, please pause for a second, give me a like, so that YouTube can show this video to more people. Goes a long way, tells me that I'm doing something right. And talk to me in the comments down below if you have any additions to what I just said to you here in this no BS guide. If you want to hear more, if you're interested in something particular, or if you have some recommendations for me, because I will take any recommendations if you spend a lot more time in all these events, and maybe I have missed something, and maybe I should bring it to the attention of the broader audience. What other sources of gear are your favorites, the ones that I didn't talk about? I thank you very much for watching, I thank you very much for sticking around. If you're still my subscriber, World of Warcraft content is coming back, very excited here. And goodbye for now, I'll talk to you about something else World of Warcraft related, most likely next week.